Hey, welcome back. History of Design. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's set up and start talking about our pamphlet design. That's what I'm going to talk about today. I want to talk through all the parts and pieces of it. You did some research, you found a subject matter, you found a couple things. Now we're going to do the deep dive, and we're going to start thinking about how we want to set it up, where we're going to set it up, all that kind of fun stuff. But what I want us to think about more is how we're going to do it. So you're going to design a brochure. It needs to be a minimum of 8 pages. It needs to include a minimum of 12 images and 1,000 words. Now, before you all start being like, what? Okay, you don't need to write it. You will need to proof it and make sure it matches the images you are using. When I say that, I am allowing for the text portion to be generated by a smart machine, AI, because I'm not worried too much about you spending all your time writing. I want you to spend more of your time designing. So there we are. So, and I'm going to break this out. I'm going to get into the Photoshop and do some drawing for you. But I just want us to be on the same page. You're going to design a brochure. I want you to be creative. I want you to try some stuff. I'm going to show you some things. It needs to have a minimum of 8 pages. No matter how those are arranged, it's going to have a front cover, page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a back cover. You can add more if you want, no less. Images, 12 images. Add more if you want, but no less, and then 1,000 words, same thing. I want 2 brochure sketches, and I want them to be fairly different. The brochure sketches are to get us to understand where you're going to go next, right? What are we going to do next? What shape? What size? How big? How do we want to do this? What's the format? So many things. So in the presentation, I want your 2 thumbnail sketches. I want your 12 researched images, your 1,000 words, and any explanations or annotations as needed. I want to break this down into a better way without and be able to talk about it, but be able to show you and talk through some things. So I'm opening up the old Photoshop, and I'm going to write and make lots of layers and talk about stuff. And I need to have open the other document on my other screen. Again, this double screen thing is invaluable for a designer who needs to move back and forth. Sorry about that. All right. Now, sometimes I like to purely just write things out. So when I say that, I write things out and I'm like, okay. Oh, why'd that? Oh, deselect. I thought I hit 8 pages, 12 images, 1,000 words. Start to think about this in a different way. How do we break this up? If we have 8 pages, and if I were just to do something very vanilla, I'm going to call it. I'm going to have super vanilla, and it would be, I'm going to kind of draw it so we understand maybe a little bit more what we're talking about. And then, so this would be, I'm going to do another one. So we're going to call this front and back. And this would be, and this is out of order, but this is just to get my brain wrapped around what I need to do. So if this is a cover, and say this is a back cover, that leaves 6 panels for me to do my work. 12 images is 2 images per panel. So, okay, that makes it better, right? And then what's 1,000 divided by 6? Where's my calculator? Where's the calculator on this Mac? I don't know. Applications. If somebody already did it in your head, good job for you. 1,000 divided by 6 equals 166. So that is then 200 words per panel. So if you were to break that down for this very vanilla idea, one panel simply needs to carry 2 pictures and 200 words. It's really not that much, is it? It's just the idea. It's like me asking you to do, what would that be? 6 of the weekly assignments all grouped into one assignment. So I hope that makes sense. So what I want you to do is when you think about that, like if you break it down, and in the reason I removed the cover and the back cover, you could include that, the back cover, but like the cover, you may just want like all image or something like that. And then so that breaks it down into, less. And then if you're like, well, I want a 12-page brochure, then you do the same thing and you just start to count out and divide out what you need to have done. It's a great starting point in order to get a better idea of how and why you want to develop what you want to develop. So say I was like, you know what? Yeah, I want whatever it is to be, 10, 12. It's all, you can't have an odd number because you need, of the way the paper folds. Maybe you could have an odd number. You'd have to do something weird. But so when I talk, so this is the standard. And I need you, the other thing I'm going to talk to you about, like right now, is where things go. You're going to need to take a piece of paper. You're going to actually need to physically touch a piece of paper, tear one out of somewhere, I don't know where, get a piece of paper. I know we're in the digital age, but if you start with just like a standard 8.5 by 11, you're going to fold it in half and then in half again. And you need to figure out how it's going to fold and where you want all your pages. So that's it. So that's it looking at it from the top. But how does it fold up when I fold it? You can do a accordion fold, right? So then this faces out and this faces out. Or if you did 1, 2, 3, I gotta draw that again. Let's go to a new page. It would be, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you did this folds in, this folds in, you have to figure out that this faces out and this faces out because these fold in on themselves. So then this would be the front cover and this would be the back cover. And then if I unrolled that, it would be front cover next to back cover. And then like when you unfold it, you have to like where do I want my information on each of these pages when I'm looking at it? When I unfold it, if you do the accordion, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So if this is the front cover, if I call that front cover, then this is 1, this is 2, and then this is back cover. And then this is 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm kind of like begging you, like when you're developing this, get a couple pieces of paper, fold them up and draw on them. I say this, if you go on and watch any YouTuber, if you don't trust me, and they're like building a brochure, one thing I like to do is actually just get a piece of paper and fold it. I've seen this happen all the time. When I explain something to students and then I see like a YouTuber or something like do the same thing, I'm like, yes, I'm describing the same thing. Or I hear a professional and they're like, oh, I take a piece of paper and I fold it to make sure I get it. And I fold it and I mark it. So you fold it up the way you want it. Where do I want my folds? And then once it's folded, you draw on it. You're like, you just write front cover, 1, 2, and then you like hold it and you're like, okay, this is what I want. Now, what I was talking about, I have an 8.5 by 11. It's a little bit out of proportion. Seen it. That's it. That one, go for it. Everybody's seen it. Everybody's done. It's a 4. I believe it's called a 4-fold brochure, even though it's only at 3 folds, but it's a 4-page, 3-fold brochure. We've all done it. We've all seen it. Now we all haven't done it. We've all seen it. It is what it is. You can do it. And like I said, you break it up, you figure out where you want your pages, how you want it to fold, easy peasy. But what if you looked around the world and started to do other things? What if you were like, I'm going to do squares. And then I'm going to have 1 square here, 1 square here, 1 square here, 1 square here. And I'm going to have them fold in. So essentially, I get this. I don't know why I just didn't do this. This would be, I have to draw it twice. I know it's being sloppy, but I don't want to take all. So then this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then this would be back cover. This would be front cover. And then 6, 7, 8. So this would get me more pieces. And it's a square format. Or you could even lose one. What if I did this? So this would fold in, this would fold in, this would fold in, and there doesn't need to be an extra one here. So that's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the opposite 5, 6, 7, 8. What if we did circles? Could you work circles? Now circles are extremely tough because you actually have, it's a circle, it can't be a circle. It's like a flattened circle because you need a fold. But you could do that. Or what if it was a different shape? It always just needs to have a flat edge. But you could do and then this is my edge, and then this side goes like this, and this one curves in. And this one goes like this, and this one curves in. You know, like you could do so many different things. You can change the top die cut if you would. If you did this fold, it would look like this. And then of course, all these get developed in Illustrator. You know, I would do the die line in Illustrator and then probably do all the other typesetting in InDesign, whatever you choose to do. But play around, keep trying, like come up with 1,000 ideas. This, like right now, I've been talking for 16 minutes only, and I'm coming up with like a ton of different ideas. I've seen the angle where it's like this, and then there's a slight angle, and I think I talked about that last week. So when it folds, there's always something exposed on it, and it kind of looks like you get like this kind of look from one side, and then the other side, you just get this. So it's kind of like interesting. You could almost play with what happens here on the back side, like it's like you would get this, this, and this, and like these could add up to make an image. It's quite complicated, but it can be done. And that's the fun part. That's where the design really shines, and you look at things. Octagon, pentagon. What's a pentagon? 5. And so the 5, it leaves you with a point on each edge. But the problem is I don't think these line up correctly. There's something with pentagons, and I don't think they can line up correctly. But here, just so we get an idea of it, why don't we open up Illustrator and take a look? And these are all the like weird things. Like, oh, what if I did this? What if I did that? Create. That's fine. That is a hexagon, 6 sides. Let's see how they go together. You could do that, that, and that. These would fold in, right? If you wanted a weird hexagon shape, that works. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I take this and I make it a pentagon, and then I have to rotate them, and I think that's where this comes in to be a problem, is the rotating. Let's see here. Maybe this could work. And then one more. Well, look at that. And then you get a lot of pages for this one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You would actually have 12 pages. So you do weird shapes. You can even do a triangle. Let's do a triangle. No, you can't. You can't. You can do a triangle. Of course, you line them up better. And there's something, you know, like cool about doing some of these, like this one, is if you did something like that, you can end up making it almost like 2 pages. You know, like when you unfold it, it becomes a single page. You could do you could do this, where it's a big page, and you'd be like, I want to fold here, so I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to fold it again. So I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, but then I'm still have 4 pages, and I may be able, you may be able to get, and then this is a single page developed out of the 4, but like this would be a poster. So it's still 4 pages, but I've turned one page, 4 of the pages into a single page. I'm kind of breaking the law there, but it's still, depending on how you view it, 4 pages. So I want you to go through this process, and this process doesn't take long. Like if we go through the process, you know your subject matter, you'll have that done today at the end of the day, if you haven't done so. Figure out what you want to do. You know, it's due at the end of the day. I haven't seen anybody, just that's why I assume nobody's done it yet. Then know that it's 8 pages. Great. I've broken that out for you. Write it out again and be like, okay, I want to break this out. Open up that again to my original, jibber jabber. 8 pages, 12 pages, 1,000 words. It really breaks down if you remove a cover and a back cover to 2 images and 200 words per page, which isn't that much. And actually the 200 is over. 200 words per page is 1,200 words. So it's actually 166.6 words per page. So it's like a paragraph. So start there. So you can go in, very easily and just start. That's the one part. Find your 12 images right away. Get ChatGPT or Gemini. You get Gemini through the school, I believe, to do your 1,000 words. And you can even have it break it down and to be like, I need a 1,000-word report or paper about, this genre and graphic design, whatever your subject matter is. And you can even tell it like, I want to talk about, I'm doing Swiss design, I don't know, and I want to talk about Herbert Matter, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So then you break down your piece even more, right? And then you say, I need, so then that breaks it down to, let's see, if I have 3 subject matters, then it's 4 images per subject matter, and then, but a little bit more than 900 words. No, not 900. What am I doing? 600. 600 times. Why am I going so big? 300. Jesus. Sorry, guys. And it's like 350 words per group, right? And then you can break that down. So like, this is A, B, C, C. So that breaks down your design process even more. It might make that thing even easier to do. And then when you ask ChatGPT about like, I need the information on this, and this really isn't a ChatGPT lesson, so I'm sorry, but you'd be like, I need 350 words on Herbert Matter, I need 350 words on C.B. Pinelli's, and I need 300 words on so-and-so. And it will get them out, and then I need to find 4 images, and then it becomes a reversal of a puzzle. You start with what you know, and then it all just starts to come together. You know your pieces, you know your breakdown, then you can create your design. I think it's harder if you go into it with just like this big blank page and you're like, I think I'll put a picture here and maybe one here and one here. When you can be like, I'm going to design this section and this is Herbert Matter. And I can like design it however I want. Knowing that like if this is the front cover and this is the back cover, you know, like depending on how I fold it. So that's that process in the beginning is I want to make sure I fold it. Then when I open it, all the information is properly where it needs to be. And it just comes down to taking some pieces of paper, folding them up and drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, front cover, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, back cover. And the back cover could still be informational. You don't have to have a blank back cover, but I'm just showing you ways into which you can divide this project out and essentially make it much, much easier to work on. So, you know, grit some paper. Like I said, I draw like all my stuff out. I do this for my intro design. And I'm like, okay, what if I want to do this? What is there enough pages? Do I have to add a page? Do you have to subtract a page? What do I need to do in order to get this to work the way that I want it to work? Try some things out. Like I said, you just saw what I did in Illustrator. That is a great way. Before I decide on like, I'm going to do hexagon, like, and just make sure like, will it work like this? I can't remember what we had. I had done this before with a student and it was like the folding in, we had cuts. I think they tried to do this with these around it. And it wasn't working. It was like they were combining two shapes and it wasn't making a complete shape because I think it was this was throwing them off, like this break here, and they wanted things touching. I don't know. But like we went in the Illustrator, we planned it out just really roughly like this, and we got it to work. So I want you to be a little bit experimental and have some fun and know like that like you can break it down. Well, you could talk about like this is like 5 people. You know, like you would have your design choice here and be like, this is a person, this is like a front and back, front and back, front and back, front and back, front and back. You know, like that would be kind of cool. You know, anything is possible with this. You don't just have to do the plain one. But we will, you know, I will work with you. You talk to me and we'd be like, you know, if you do the standard, good for you. If you want to push it further and like you will talk together and I'll be like, okay, you're going to need this and like do that folding technique, figure out what you want to do. So, yeah, and play around. It's not like you're just, you know, and it's not a ton of work. Like you have plenty of time. You got your presentation hopefully started. Like I said, it's due tonight. I'm going to look at your subject matter. You found some information. You found some imagery. Now it's just developing that to the next stage to where you're going to get all your images done. You know, like I have all my high res images completed. I have them all. So you get them. And then you're going to have your 1,000 words broken up to whatever, however you want it done. And then you have a drawing. Once your drawing is done, like your 2 little sketches or however you want to do it, digital sketches, like your breakout, and you're like this page is going to have this, and this is like the general design of it. The next 3 weeks is just putting the stuff into the design. This is when you break it up, designs aren't that hard. It's just breaking it up into those segments and stages that you need to do. And you can do it. It's just looking at it in a different light. Instead of looking at it as a whole, break it up into pieces. And then those pieces fall into other pieces. And then you create that puzzle and you're like, oh, great, I can knock this out. It'll be great. And I got plenty of time to do it. So that's it. That's it for me. I think, yeah, it's nice, shorty, 30 minutes. I'm going to try to knock something out for this. If you're in my other class, I did some changes actually to this course, and I did some big changes to another course, and that's been taking up my time to make sure that we all equal out. At the end of the semester is what I'm looking to do. So I hope to work on this one. I'll try to bust something together this weekend. I think I might have some time to pick a subject matter and get 12 pieces, 1,000 words, and get a couple drawings going, because I always do love working on these with you and in tandem, because then you can see, I can show you like, no, just do this, change this, fix that. So without rambling or waffling on too much longer, you know how to get a hold of me. You know how to reach me. Please do. I believe I've checked everything. I'm up to date on all works and grades and discussions, but please, if you got questions, comments, or concerns, I am here for you to answer everything. Use those midweek reviews. Don't wait till the last minute. Get some input. Oh, and here's the other thing. I respond to every assignment. Even if it's a good, like, great work, you should look, because when you hand something in, I comment on it. And I may say something like, I see you do this repeatedly. And then if I see it like 3 weeks in a row, I'm like, I know you're not reading anything. Like, you're not reading the comments. You're turning it in, you see your grade, but you're not reading the comments. The funny part is, the reverse of that is I have to lower grades enough that I know it alerts you to look at your grade. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to just be like, well, I know they don't look if it's an A, so I have to make it a B so they look, and it's just like a small error that you continually do. So always check those discussion boards. I don't write that much. I don't take up that much of your time. I want you to be designing, not looking, and then I go and I adjust designs and I change designs. I'm like, here, do this instead. So again, let me know what you need. I am here for you. Have some fun with this pamphlet design. I encourage you to do something a little bit outside of the bounds if you can, if it's in your wheelhouse as a designer. And if you have questions, comments, or concerns along the way, please reach out to me. I'm here for you. All right. I'm looking forward to seeing the subject matter that you guys choose to turn in today. And then, next week. Oh, and otherwise, just to repeat, next week, we have Tuesday class. Thursday's class is going to be kind of like pre-recorded. I'm going to record it and then post it, and it's going to be posted early. This is that makeup for that 1 week where around week 4, where I was like, we don't have anything next week. It's a freedom week. That's turning into this to next week, in which the school is closed on Thursday, but you will have a lecture from me. So that's where I moved it from for a couple weeks ago to this week. So next week, we just keep rolling. Tuesday, Thursday, you'll have a pre-recorded massage message video from me. So don't forget about that. I will be posting, look at the assignment due dates and everything like that. So I gave you your freedom a couple weeks ago, knowing that I was going to take that freedom away this week. And then for the rest of the course, there should be no other weird setups like that. So, all right. I hope this all makes sense. I hope you have some fun. Do something fun. Do great design, and I will talk to you guys shortly. All right. Bye-bye.